And we are live.
Hi, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
I don't know if anyone's here yet, but we are. Hello.
Nope.
Nobody's here yet?
Oh, there's 5.
Hi, people.
Hey, we have to go full screen today.
Echo.
Full
Echo.
screen.
Echo.
There it is. Popping up.
Just need a refresh.
What's going on?
Appreciate you guys hopping in live, guys and gals. What's up, Aaron?
How are you?
Glad you're here. Are you guys ready?
Let's do it.
Welcome to Life, Liberty, and Equip Podcast. I'm Greg Davis, founder of Neomag, and a firm believer that life is worth living boldly. Liberty should be used for good, and we all have a calling to be equipped to pursue it. Every week we explore what it means to live with intention and carry the tools and mindset that prepare us for whatever comes. We'll dive into the topics around the freedoms we cherish, the gear we trust, and the skills that equip us. There's more than a podcast. It's a mission. Life, liberty, and equipped to pursue it. We're coming to you live on the Neomag YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Actually, take it back. Not Instagram. They still will not let us stream on there. We'll be pulling your live comments right into the conversation. If you're listening on the recorded podcast, words are hard, we go live every Wednesday at 1 p.m. when you remember it's Wednesday, which I did not. And we are on your YouTube and Facebook page. We'd love to have you join us in real time. And don't forget to join the Neomag Insiders Club. It's free to join. And right now, oh, that's still not right either. You're no longer getting 30% off. I was not prepared for today whatsoever. Oh,
Are you on the right day? Yeah, you are.
Yeah, I just didn't update it.
Want.
Well, I thought I had another whole day. Anyway, while you're here, please subscribe to the channel, follow us on social, and leave a review for the podcast. It really helps more people discover what we're doing and keeps this community growing. Because why wouldn't you want to be a part of whatever's going on right now?
This cluster.
Welcome, listeners, to another historic moment in audio excellence, featuring Nate and Michael. Nate, whose wisdom could calm storms, inspire nations, and possibly solve world peace if we just gave him a whiteboard.
That's right.
Michael, the unstoppable force of ambition, discipline, and charm, who somehow manages to be both a fitness icon and nicest guy within a 300-mile radius. Together, they're not just podcast hosts, they are national treasures. Honestly, we don't deserve them.
It's true. You don't. It's accurate.
I don't know how accurate that intro was, but I am lucky to have both of you guys here.
Yeah,
so is everybody else.
Insiders Club. Might need to update that.
Yeah, that ended a couple weeks ago.
Oops.
All right, you guys ready to get into this?
Life segment. Go.
Life isn't just the big moments, it's the everyday joys worth protecting. Family, friends, and community. Let's talk about what makes life rich.
The life segment today.
Home Depot's out.
Nate, what's going on with you, buddy?
I don't know. I'm just confused why things aren't working right now. Well, I'm back from hunting. I'm the only one that has killed anything yet this year.
Shut up. We don't need to talk about that.
Michael hasn't gotten a chance to hunt because his back was broken. Greg sucks.
I don't suck.
Is what it really comes down
I
to.
passed up on more deer than you shot.
Well, that means you're just bad at it.
I'm just picky.
Well, you missed one and he didn't.
I did miss one.
So again,
I'm shooting fire.
better at this than you.
Oh,
I've killed 2.
How long have you been hunting deer?
A long time.
How long have I been hunting deer?
I don't know.
Like weeks.
Let's
So
just say this, and I think we can both agree on this. This nonsense of short wall and 2 weeks
it's
that
dumb.
you can only use a rifle to hunt.
So dumb. For
is,
real.
is absurd.
So
There's
dumb.
more deer dead on the road and in my
Absolutely.
yard every day than there are getting killed by hunters in Ohio.
Well, actually, the real issue is, I think opening day, I can't remember what the numbers were. Some ungodly number
it was
of deer recorded
Yes, that's
dead
crazy.
on opening
24,000
day.
or something.
So that's
It was
actually,
it was like almost 100,000 or
Oh, wow.
something.
which is the reason that they only do this for 2 weeks.
Well,
but-
I'm gonna trip with a bag of corn in my yard, and I don't know what just happens. I got hit by
As long as you're on
Oh.
private property, you can
I'm-
bait.
my
You
neighbor.
don't have to trip.
Like, hey, here's a bow.
But yep, so I got 2 deer in Pennsylvania on opening day, which means I then got to just hang out.
Hey, what'd you
for-
do the rest of the time?
I read. I ferried my dad back and forth to his hunting
You
spot.
stay in a hotel?
No, we have there's a small little cabin cottage
That's
thing
cool.
down the street.
Because spending 3 days sitting in a hotel would be horrible.
Yeah, no. We've got there's these little cottages, cabin things. I don't really know how to describe them down the road from the town that we're hunting outside of. They're really, really nice. It's funny. The property was bought probably 15 years ago. The original property that was there, they had these old cabins on it that were probably nice when they were built in the 1950s, but at their tail end of their existence hadn't been touched in a long, long time. So we had stayed in them a few times. Then they were bought and torn down. The folks that bought it with the intent of rebuilding them, but it took them a while to get their finances, that kind of stuff. But now that they're there, they're two little 2-bedroom units. So it's just a big square, 2 bedrooms in the back, bathroom in between them, and then the front section is your living area. So you have a living room and a kitchen. It's the only thing that I'm not going to say complain about. The only thing that we wish was there was a laundry. That's the only thing that's missing.
Oh, yeah.
But in the grand scheme of things, it's not that big a deal. So it's really nice. So I hung out there, would ferry my dad back and forth to his hunting spot, and then spent a lot of time reading. I actually did a lot of work from there.
Yep.
I was just
They were still pretty responsive.
trying to respond to the guys, still trying to get stock stuff fixed if it needed fixed, and anything that we needed to do work-wise that related to the computer, I just did from there. So that worked out fine. So that's what I did for 4 days while I waited to come home.
Nice.
So did that. December's just crazy. I know I feel like that's my normal theme, but I think this week, because I had an event canceled last night, that's the only night that I'm not doing something this week or have something going on.
Big fan of canceled plans.
Yeah, it was nice. My buddy texted me. He's like, "Hey man, I'm not feeling good. I think I have to cancel tonight." I said, "You know what? I'm not complaining about it. I don't have a single night free this week, so this means I get to just stay home." So we stayed home last night, which was nice. That'll be the only free night I have until maybe Sunday. I don't even know if I have Sunday free, but we've got, my wife has a book club tonight that she's hosting at the house. Then we have a Christmas program for my kids tomorrow. Friday is the Neomag Christmas party. Woohoo. Saturday is a family Christmas. And then, like I said, I think I might be free Sunday. And then Monday resets and we got stuff again. So it's just that time of year between Christmas parties and family get-togethers and just normal, the normal stuff that you have on the calendar. Everything fills up. So it's craziness. But really what I want to talk about is e-commerce manners, folks.
Oh, gosh. We can spend the rest of the hour.
100%. Guys, it's the busiest time of the year. Be nice. Be kind.
Everybody
Everybody out there, please be nice and be kind. All the companies that you guys are ordering from are working really hard to get your products out right now. It's the busiest time of year. If there's a little bit of a delay, give them a little bit of grace. If the item has shipped, if you have a tracking number, chances are it's shipped and it's out of the hands of the person that shipped it to you.
Yeah, once the company who ships the product hands it to the shipper, the company has no power, knowledge, control. It is now in the hands of
USPS,
the almighty,
UPS, FedEx, one of those other random
literally
carriers.
Only God knows where it's at. Even the shipping company does not know where your product is at.
So have some grace this time of year, please.
And don't make threats.
Yeah, don't make threats. It's just, it doesn't,
We'll call your bluff.
it's just not very nice. We've had several angry folks. We've had some bad reviews, not on the product, but on the fact that we shipped fine, but because USPS took forever, they're angry about it. We shipped in a very timely manner.
Very fast, yeah.
But the item didn't arrive in the time that they wanted, but they didn't pay for expedited shipping. So I'm not really sure how I can fix that. But
and if you complain before it ships out, I'll just straight up cancel it.
Yeah, that's one of the things we're dealing with right now. But hey, all I wanted to say is it's the busiest time of the year, guys. We're all trying to get stuff out. We're also trying to get content for you. It's a lot of things that we're trying to do. We're small companies, a lot of small companies. If you ordered late, I'm still ordering Christmas presents.
Yeah.
If you ordered late, like me, be nice to the people that are trying to get your.
You were the one that was not planned enough.
I didn't plan enough.
What do you mean? Yeah.
Be nice to people trying to get your package out the door. That's all I got to say about that.
And be nice to the people that are delivering your packages because they're just doing whatever
Yeah, it's not their
gets
fault.
handed to them too.
That's right.
Yeah. It's a very, very small percentage. When we look at the quantity of orders we shipped and the amount of complaints we get, it is less than a percentage.
Oh, yeah.
But boy, are they annoying.
And we remember the name.
Yeah, we
We
do.
remember you.
Actually, we did have a guy today who emailed in that literally just made me giggle. He was very kind. He screwed something up, and he admitted to screwing something up and gave a wonderful email about how he screwed it up and he wanted to pay to fix his problem and was asking for help. That was the appropriate way to ask for help.
Because you know what we did? We just sent him whatever he needs.
Yeah. It was not even a big deal.
We are extremely happy to help.
He didn't even have to be nice. He could have just said, "Hey, this broke," and we would have done it. But he very well explained what happened, and he very much admitted that it was his fault. And we're just gonna ship out the thing that he needed, and it's no big deal. So just be kind.
Yeah,
that's all.
Yeah, it's humans behind the screen.
Rewind.
Yeah. E-commerce manners, guys. E-commerce manners.
We are not Amazon. Amazon, by the way, is not really shipping stuff as fast as they were at one point. We don't have our own shipping.
We do not have our own fleet. I am not driving from Ohio to California to deliver your stuff.
No.
Might take longer.
Sorry.
We do not have a distribution center in your backyard.
Nope. I have a distribution center in
Right
Wadsworth.
Right there.
It's right around the corner here.
Couple rooms.
That's all I got. So be nice, please.
Yeah. That's your PSA for today.
PSA for today. That's all Nate has. Moving on.
I'm still hunting, as Nate has so graciously reminded me.
Attempting or still?
Patriotic Pangolin said that his order came fast and accurate.
Oh,
Yes.
good. Actually, let's say this. Like fishing and hunting, it is not called
It's not
catching
killing.
or shooting. It's called hunting. So you are doing the thing.
Yeah. I sat 7 days in a row. A couple of those days, multiple sits in a day. Took a shot at a doe that I still am losing sleep over. So I took a shot at a doe, and it was kind of there was a fence with a couple bushes, and there was a gap between the bushes. And as soon as the deer came between there, pulled the trigger, see smoke, and I just see the deer just kind of prance off. Didn't really act like it got hit, which I don't like. I'm not seeing a whole lot of deer in person get shot. I watch a lot of videos, but
They act like they get hit if they get hit.
that's what right. That's
Yeah.
kind of this one just kind of like pranced off, and I'm like, So I go look. Me and my buddy spent a while looking for blood for anything. Couldn't find anything. But then, so we chalked it up to a miss. Still can't figure out. It's like 40-yard shot. I don't know. Only God knows that too. But then the next day, Brian, that I was there hunting with, shoots a doe. He's using a 450 Bushmaster. I'm using a 350 Legend. He shoots it with a 450, and he couldn't find blood either. But they found fur, so they knew it was hit. So they started looking, and they ended up finding it. No blood, complete internal bleed out. Could that have happened to mine? Absolutely. So I might have a dead doe. I may have killed my first deer, and it is rotting in the woods.
No, I mean, stuff happens.
Or
So
frozen solid in the woods.
this was 5 years ago. 5 years ago, I want to say. It was about 30 minutes before legal light. I had a doe walk into the field I was hunting. It was probably a 50-yard shot, maybe a 70-yard shot. I can't remember. And I lined up and I took the shot on her. She didn't drop right away. She limped off. Very clearly, I got a hit on her. Waited a little bit of time, walked out to where I hit her. I actually found a bone fragment. So I shattered her shoulder. But there was a little bit of blood there, but then the trail just disappeared. I spent 3 hours hunting for a blood trail. My dad even saw her moving across the field adjacent to the field that I was in. He could see her limping, knew that she was hurt, knew that I'd shot her. We moved through that field, couldn't find a blood trail, couldn't find her. Spent 3 hours, literally 3 hours looking for her in the dark with headlamps, looking for her, couldn't find it. I went back the next day because I didn't feel good about it. And unfortunately, it snowed overnight, and spent another 5 hours pushing all of the brush on that piece of property we would hunt, and I never found her. So there are just times that you just don't get lucky, right? It happens. It's not, if you do the due diligence to try and find them and you just can't find anything, sometimes it just happens that way. It's not the end of the world. Do your best.
At least it wasn't a buck.
Yeah.
Like a big.
Yeah, if
deer,
it
big
was like a
turkey,
monster.
That's the worst. That'll wreck your
Yeah.
weekend.
And in hindsight, I probably should have gone into the woods and looked for it. more rather than just looking for signs. Maybe I should have, expanded my search a little bit just to see if it. But regardless, I've seen quite a few deer since. They usually aren't coming out until 5 minutes after shooting time's over. I'm packing up and I'm working my way down a tree, and they come and look at me like, "What are you doing?" So I'm gonna go as soon as the podcast is over today. I'm going back out. It'll happen when it's gonna happen. I'm enjoying the process. I went out yesterday to the place where I'm going to go today. Cleared some limbs, put some corn out. The only thing that's been munching on the corn is this little doe, who I think her mom. I'd seen this doe before with the mom, and I think the mom got taken because I've just been seeing the doe wandering around. She's eating my corn. I don't know, she might come home with me. We'll see.
Hey, listen, it's still good eating.
Yeah.
If she's by herself, she may not make it anyways.
Right.
Jimmy Rowland, our friend Jimmy, asked, does Ohio allow high-powered rifles? And the answer is no.
Negative. You can with other things. You got coyote with a high-powered rifle.
Yep. But deer, you can only use a straight-walled cartridge. So you've got your 4570, your 350 Legend, your 450 Bushmaster, your 357 Magnum, if you want to, your 44 Magnum.
Anything straight wall.
Anything straight wall you can shoot a deer with. Unfortunately, we cannot use high-powered rifles in Ohio. I also hunt in Pennsylvania, so I use a 308 there, which means I can hunt at 250 yards, which is where I took both of my deer this year.
Yeah.
Which was lovely.
And still make a pretty big impact when it hits.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Other than that, just I'm looking forward to tomorrow. Tib is coming in town. He's not with us today because he is at a Vortex event.
That's right.
Up in Wisconsin.
Scanson.
And so he's coming in town tomorrow. Tomorrow's not tattoo day. Friday's tattoo day. We're all going to get matching tattoos on Friday. It's going to be adorable. And then we have our party. A couple years ago, I started doing our Christmas party at a place called the Foundry Social. It has electric go-karting. It's got a bunch of old arcade games, cornhole, duck pin bowling, all that stuff. It's just bar, restaurant, everything. So it's a really fun place that everybody can kind of. There's a room that I rent there, so we can have our own space for dinner and spend time together, and then go and kind of play. So it's been a really good time the last few years. Looking forward to it again this year. So yeah, I'm just kind of counting down to that, to be honest.
It's gonna be a lot of fun. It always is.
Yeah.
So it'll be good.
Michael's got a blank save, so
that's because I had to build the email for the podcast.
Michael's doing nothing. He's got nothing.
He's got nothing on.
I always forget to.
I guess let's move on.
We'll just move on.
Let's go to Liberty.
Let's go on to Tib. So, yeah. So the Tattoos Friday, our Christmas party is coming up. Hannah's coming into town this weekend, so excited to see her. My birthday is next week.
Woohoo!
So I've got a doctor's appointment on my birthday. Super exciting. As you age, you have to go to doctor visits more. So yeah, we're doing that. Yeah, I'm excited. This weekend, I'm getting together for the last photo shoot of the year with kind of the team. So we're going to try a different location this weekend and maybe get a little outdoor content and maybe a little indoor content.
A little snowy content.
It'll be so cold this weekend.
I'm hoping that it's primarily indoor. There's a couple of things that I need to capture outside, but maybe it's one of those where like heated vehicles, jump out, get shot, jump back in, warm up, defrost. But yeah, just upcoming traveling, the Christmas this time of year is always busy, just preparing for the wind down, the end of the year for us. And then the time that we get to spend with family. I'm thankful again. I'm going to go home, see the family for a couple of days. And then I'm jumping on a plane, flying to Colorado to go see Hannah and her family. And everybody's going to go on the mountain and go snowboarding. I was telling them maybe I just get like one of those rubber little tubes and like tube on the bunny slope. Be like, look at me go.
Still think that's a bad idea.
I don't even know that's a good idea.
So my ortho and everybody says like I could, but I think I'm probably just going to be there hanging out and enjoying just watching them.
It's just as important, if not more important, is the guy or gal that holds the table for you.
I will hold the table inside.
Somebody that holds the table inside is so important.
Is there a hot tub? Because if there's a hot tub, just sit in that the whole time.
Hot tub.
If there's a hot tub or a sauna
or a spa or something like that,
just sit there.
Yeah, go do your thing. Go get wet. Go get a concussion. Yep. I've already got the broke back.
Yep.
So, so I'm excited for that at the end of the year, and then rolling into January. I think that's what I'm really just trying to transition and prep for us, for kind of the ideas that we have rolling into the new year. And then I'm shooting my first major in January in Florida. So I'm really trying to, well, not my first major of the year.
Yep.
And I'm really trying to just get spun back up from being kind of down, being kind of out, not being physically like active or getting to shoot as much. So that's kind of like on the back end of my mind, but also the forefront of like, we have got to be dry firing, practicing, getting the reps in. And I did the other night and I was
a little rusty.
Yeah, there's a couple things that were like, we need to work on this.
Yeah.
We don't need to worry about dropping or catching the mag. We need to worry about getting the mag in.
Yeah. Just put it into the gun.
Put it into the frame. So
nice.
That's it for me.
Cool.
Very good.
Liberty it is.
See if the audio works.
Liberty isn't about what we can get away with. It's about how we use our freedom to serve. Let's explore what that looks like today.
Liberty audio.
Welcome to the Liberty section of the podcast.
See if
I don't know why the audio's not working on our things anymore.
It's weird
because it's muting our mics.
Yeah, it wants to play. Anyway, for today's Liberty segment, I just dropped a link to an article in the YouTube comments. So I came across this today, and have you guys heard about this? You guys looking at this at all? So in Australia, as of the 10th today, Australia officially enforces a new law that bans people under 16 from holding accounts on major social media platforms. The law is passed as the Online Safety Amendment, Social Media Minimum Age Act of 2024, requires social media companies to take reasonable steps, in quotes, to block or deactivate under 16 accounts or face fines up to 49.5 million in Australian bucks.
Pounds.
Bucks.
Or whatever they use.
The euro? No.
Pelts.
Aussie?
Koala pelts.
Yeah, I was gonna say
No,
pelts.
We're so bad.
Platforms covered include the largest and most used apps like TikTok, Instagram, Threads, Facebook, Snapchat, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Reddit, Twitch, and others as designed by the government regulator. The stated goal is to protect children from online harms, bullying, addictive design, harmful content, and improve youth mental health, giving parents and families more peace of mind. The law has drawn global attention. It's first of its kind worldwide. Other governments and regulators are watching closely to see how it unfolds, whether it will curb harm or create new problems. What are your guys' thoughts on this?
Curb harm. That's kind of funny.
I think it's interesting. You and I were talking about this briefly beforehand. We can't argue that social media has necessarily improved the mental health of adolescents because it hasn't improved the mental health of adults.
Yeah, we just talked about in the intro of this, like, be nice because we're getting
based on social media,
yeah.
Right? So
people.
it's not helping anyone's mental health from that perspective. And not to say that there can't be good things on social media, because that's not true. There's wonderful things on social media, and there's been some fantastic things about social media. You can be connected to people. You can, if you put the effort in the appropriate way, can be connected to people that you wouldn't otherwise see long term. There's folks that I'm friends with on social media that I haven't seen in person in a decade, right? And those things are wonderful, getting to see them raising their kids and that kind of stuff. That's great. But there's also a lot of bad on social media. We know that there's a lot of those things. The hard part is, in my mind, and I know if Tib was on the podcast, he'd be saying something similar, is, do we need the government to step in to provide that,
right,
that regulation for our kids, or should that be on us as parents? Should we be providing that? Now, I don't have kids. My kids are young. They're too young to even have their own personal devices to put social media on yet, right? So I don't have to have that fight yet, but I'm also fighting my kids on screen time in general, right? My son comes home from school every day and he's like, "Hey, can I watch a show?" And I'm not going to say our answer is never yes. I'm not going to keep them from never watching a movie or never watching television, because honestly, there's times where it's a nice break for everybody. Just let's go watch it. Or we watch TV as a family, and that's lovely. Like, I know your family loves to watch movies together, Graig, and that's a great thing. So I'm not saying that we're a family that doesn't have TVs and won't ever allow our kids to watch shows. That's not what we're going to do. But we already are regulating screen time, because we watch my son in particular struggle to self-regulate himself.
Sure.
Yeah. On things, on devices. He does not do a good job of turning it off and regulating his own emotion.
And that doesn't just stop with children either.
Right. Well, correct.
Like I think we all struggle with that too.
Well, but my point is, we're doing that, and that we're not even getting to social media. We're not getting to having a device in his hand that he can get on and do all of those things. So once I start adding those elements to his life, how does that start doing things? I'm doing that. I'm not asking the government to help me do that. I'm having to do that. So that's where my question mark is. I actually don't necessarily think the law in itself is a bad thing. It's just, does the government need to step in to do that, or should we be doing that as parents and responsible adults?
Yeah, I agree. It's tough sometimes to figure out to draw the line of where the government needs to step in sometimes, right? Like, I do think there are some benefits to the government saying
100%
no to this. Like, we're drawing a line here, and I appreciate that it is. I appreciate in this instance that it's to protect the kids. Like, yeah, I feel like a lot of times the government doesn't really care. So in this case, to actually say, hey, we've not seen a whole lot of benefit to kids being on social media, so we're going to put a stop to it.
Yep.
Because I think there is that added level of protection. I guess it probably makes it easier as a parent to say, hey, it's not me, it's the government. Like the argument's over now.
Sorry, kid.
Sorry, kid. It's you know what? If it was up to me, I would let you
You totally could have it.
But the government says no. So there's that. But
Good scapegoat.
that said, I don't need the government to do that. I'm the parent, and what I say goes. But I know I kind of use, when we were talking about this earlier, I kind of use the example of, like, obviously driving 60 miles an hour in a residential zone is a bad idea and can have catastrophic things. And so
it's illegal.
Yeah, if it really but the government puts a speed limit on that zone, and we all kind of agree, yeah, that's probably a pretty good idea to limit to 25 miles an hour in this neighborhood and not just make it the Autobahn. So there are things that we as a society say, okay, government, we agree with you making, drawing this line. Oh, what's your thoughts, Mike?
Well, the Autobahn is actually pretty safe. I got to drive on it, and I didn't really get to go very fast in the Humvee, but
there was no kids.
But there's no
homes
and kids riding scooters.
If they were, watch out, because that Humvee cruises at 55, like pedal to the metal. So, I'm kind of in agreement with you guys on two parts. The government stepping in and formally telling these companies that, hey, there needs to be some type of regulation because you guys obviously haven't done it. Whether they have factual studies behind it that can really vindicate the reason why they're justifying this action, I don't know, right? But I do appreciate the step forward to say, hey, big corporations, you guys need to do something, because there is a lot of incidences or things that we see, from mental issues to bullying and so forth, that need to be moderated or somewhat controlled or protected for the sole purpose of protecting the kids, where I think there's a loophole for everything. And we'll kind of get to that in the next section with the next topic. But, you can make a faceless account. You can make a false email. Like when we created our account, I think we had to input our birthday, or you can just go straight onto Google and type in Instagram, whether you have your own account or not, from 16 up or under, right? You can still access it and see everything on there. And the heart of the issue for me, why is the government so focused on these big corporations, and why aren't we focused on like the bigger issues for protecting kids overall? I can see the valid point of doing this, right? But laws over time just become control or forms of manipulation. So I'm on I'm two-sided on this. I do think we need some type of regulation, and we see it here in the United States. There's Twitter, Instagram, and all of them are actually coming out with, platforms for parents to be able to.
A lot of platforms have controls and stuff built in to them.
Right. So I think that is good, but I think where we should be focusing some of this should be more of not so much on the social media side of the house, but what's happening in person. because what's created in person is what carries over on social media, and it's 10 times that, right? Because if I'm rude to you in person, imagine what I can do behind a screen when I have no repercussion behind it.
But how does the government get involved with that?
I don't think the government does so much on the social media side, but I think the government can get into forms of schools and education and programs that maybe generalize, the topics of bullying or
They do already,
right? And
yeah.
I think that should be more of the focus, not let's create a law that regulates these.
But they do already. Like our kids, there's like bullying,
right?
like
And I'm not
programs, and
yeah,
they're like they have programs.
not
like that,
dismissing it. I'm just saying maybe instead of making a law to control something, you should put more emphasis into those programs, right? Where are the results of the programs versus the results that you're saying the law is going to?
Well, we might be seeing we might be getting the results of the programs, and maybe it'd be worse if we didn't have them. But what was the program that my kids were telling me about? They sat through the other day. I think they sat. It was like actually, I think it had to do with if my daughter's watching. She can remind me later. She isn't. Actually, she's able to see this, but she's not able to comment. Speaking of the whole thing, but I think they sat through something that I think had to do with like personal space and touching and that sort of thing.
I wasn't sure if you're going with personal speech, or
space. Words are hard today. I do believe that there should be some form of control, though. Like, I don't think a law should dictate that. I do think the parents should have that ultimate control. If you're raising your kid, it's not the government's place to come in and say, hey, let me help you, right? Like, I'm from the government, I'm here to help. I think the parents and every parent has their own way of doing it. Some parents might allow their kids to cuss at 10 years old, and some parents forbid it, right? So I think it relies on the family and the household and the doctrine that you're established there.
That's kind of what Aaron said here. Aaron on YouTube said, at the end of the day, it's up to parents to know what their kids are up to. Understand and explain the dangers to your kids. Monitor the content and who they're talking to, etc. And I agree. I think that to me, this doesn't have to be an either or conversation either. Two things can be true at once. I say that all the time because people get so laser focused on one thing. Two things can be true at once. We can have regulation and we can have parenting at the same time, and those can both work. They both work together.
Sure.
I think part of what I wanted to kind of talk about here, though, is like, is this if this were to happen here in the U.S., do we believe that this is a infringement on basic liberties, and where does that begin and end? Because under 21, you can't. Oh, this isn't. I guess kind of liberty. Like, you can't drink under 21. You can't drive over, under 6 or 15 and a half. Just like we have things in place for other things. So like,
yep.
At what age should people have these liberties and not? And do we think that this is infringing on basic liberties such as freedom of expression, assembly, access to information? Like, all those things are part of these digital platforms.
I mean, there are kids out there now that are making millions off of YouTubes. Their parents are helping them do their home cooking or their toys, right? So I do believe there's the good and the bad to two sides of it, right?
Yep.
That's a infringement, right? That's a hard one because corporations have the right to tell you what's a violation or not, as we've learned and experienced. As even last night, like, my account's getting banned out of nowhere, right? And then I got it back, but censorship, it's relevant even in today's time. And if I ever have kids in today's world with AI, with technology, with information overload on the internet and the interwebs, I would not show my kids' face until they're like 18. And it's not out of, they can't have social media or anything like that. It's just like, I'm going to protect them. Like, that's the only way I know how to, because there are people out there with evil intent to do harm and do things. A little bit of a tangent on that, but it's a hard conundrum, because I want to say, yes, it is an infringement, but I also want to say, well, as a business, I have a right to refuse service, or I have a right to create my own policies and or guidelines. So I think we should have some form of parenting control, with corporations working with parents more than the government. I think that would be an awesome avenue to explore. I don't know how that would be approached, but if we come together and vote on something, what if parents came together with the corporations and said, hey, this is what we're noticing, this is what we see in our kids' lives, or this is the impact, more responsive feedback that way.
I think we are seeing that. All these controls that social media platforms already put in there, I guarantee are the response of parents.
Right. Right.
So I
think these parents,
I think these platforms are kind of doing that. What's your thoughts, Nate, on it?
Well, I just thinking through the infringement and all of that. The hard part is, I don't think social media is some God-given right. Having the access to social media is some God-given right, or having access to the World Wide Web is some God-given right per se, right? So not giving a teenager access to it, I don't think is necessarily stepping on anybody's rights. You can still gather with your friends. You can still, demonstrate and all of those things that we think about. If this happens in the U.S., those things can all happen.
You can still worship freely. You can still
do all those things and still express yourself. You don't need social media to do those things. And goes back to, these are private companies, because we've talked about this. As much as I understand it's frustrating for companies, for individuals to have their accounts banned for no reason. It just happens for, somebody says either they were offended by the content that you put on your social media, or with some arbitrary reason that their AI content bot decided that you needed to be banned, right? Because it seems like that happens frequently as well. Ultimately, at the end of the day, these are private corporations. I know that there are fights in courts about what that actually means. They're still trying to figure that out. But to me, they are a private corporation, not in the public, that can refuse business as they so please. It's frustrating. It's annoying, especially if you're using that platform to make money. That is hard,
for sure,
right? And frustrating. But ultimately, just like we would get frustrated if someone came to us and say, you have to provide a service for somebody that you don't agree with and don't want to provide a service for. And we'd be like, well, no, you can't make me do anything. Just the same thing for them. They can also say, well, I don't want to provide this service for you for whatever reason that I so choose. So I have a struggle. I don't feel like this is infringing on anybody's rights if a company chooses to do it. Now, take another step back. For the government to put the regulation in place, I'm really not sure where I fall on it. It goes back and forth, because I struggle with this is a parent's call versus a kid, versus the government's call. I'm not anti-government, but I want them to stay out of my business to a certain extent. So this is another step into more regulation, more of them saying this is something you can or cannot do. And generally speaking, that is something that I would, without much thought, if you just asked me from a gut feeling, I would say no. I don't want them to do it, just because it's something that they are putting more control of. And that's generally speaking something I would, my initial reaction is no, just because I don't want more government regulation. That's just generally speaking my feeling. But right. I can see the benefit. I understand what it can, the positives that can come from it, I think, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. So one of the last things I put here, and just kind of tying with what you're saying, is, so the government is limiting this because it is harmful. They've defined it as harmful, right?
Yep.
I think maybe more than anything that I kind of have a problem here is a government defining what is harmful.
Sure.
Like I think, because frankly, there are things that the government is openly doing and promoting that I find harmful.
Sure.
Yet they don't see it as harmful. They see it as good. And so maybe, like, to me, I think the bigger kind of red flag in all this is like, I don't think I'm always going to, I know I don't always agree with what the government is going to deem harmful. And so for the government to come in and step in and say, we are going to ban this harmful thing because we have defined it as harmful. Well, it might not be harmful to millions of people.
Yeah.
But the things that they're also doing currently is harmful to millions of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's one of my bigger concerns with it.
Yeah. We need regulation that sharpens the blade, not dulls it. That's just what it boils down to. Is we need something that's going to be good for the people, not something that's going to confine us into a box and constrain us or constrict us or create more divisiveness because of it. Right.
That's kind of what Penguin just said. He said, I often worry about this regulation, how it can be abused for other issues that are unrelated. So yeah, if we're going to let them define this as being harmful, then that means we're allowing them to define
It's opening up a door.
other things as harmful too. So now in this case, I think we pretty much all agree that social media can be harmful. Again, I think we all have degrees of how much we're willing to allow social media to be a part of our lives and our kids' lives and that sort of thing. But yeah, I thought this was interesting. You know, we've seen little glimpses of this. There was a TikTok ban for a little bit, and that kind of got overturned and changed and that sort of thing. I actually don't know all the ins and outs of it, but I know that there was part of that for a little bit, and we've seen kind of hints at this, but I'm not sure that the U.S. would do this, but I think it's something for us to know is out there and could be coming. So to form some opinions on. I'm going to assume that the equipped intro is also not audio is also not going to work. Do you want to give it a try?
We could give it a try. Probably not going to work, but we'll give her an old.
You have to imitate his voice and say exactly.
Yeah, I wish I had the script to it.
Yeah.
We'll say I would do it. If
I'll just read it.
but I
I
don't
don't
know.
remember what it is.
Here we go.
The right tools, the right skills at the right time. This is where we get equipped to live boldly and be ready for what comes next.
Equipped. So the first thing I want to tell everybody about, I've been drinking from this the whole episode here so far. For those of you who are watching, I have a nice ceramic mug. Just a good sized mug.
It's a big one.
We got these in, and I was like, oh, that's bigger than I thought it was going to be. I've been using this for ice cream or my ice cream bowl, and that's what. So it's very nice for those who cannot see this. It is a ceramic. The inside is white. There's a black rim. The outside has a red with black and white speckle. And then we have our Life, Liberty, and Equipped Pursue It logo marked on the outside. So I thought, especially those of you who are part of our podcast every week and support us here, that you might be especially interested in this mug. You can buy the mug on its own. How much are we selling it for?
$14.99.
Michael knows.
Is that right?
I'm like 99% positive.
We're 99% sure that it's
I will check
$14.99.
right now. How about
That's
that?
right.
That sounds about right. But we are also running a promotion for the rest of the month. Spending $99, you get the mug for free.
What? Free?
For free
stuff?
You also get free shipping at that mark. We could have used these as an opportunity to like try to boost the cart value even more than 99, but we decided that we wanted to just give these mugs away at basically at the same price point. So
Yes, $14.99. He is correct. So if you're interested in the mug, it's a sweet mug. $14.99.
Very nice.
Just for you guys.
You notice on the bottom, I can't turn this upside down because I've been drinking it. We lasered off the made in China the thing that was on the bottom with a Neomag logo. So take that, China.
By the way, PP says that the intro audio has been coming through fine for him.
Oh,
Maybe we just can't hear it.
we just can't hear it.
So just so you know.
That's weird. Okay. Well, I don't think the podcast, I don't think they hear it because whatever come through the board
Yep.
is what they hear. So, yeah. So just I did want to announce that the hats are still in here somewhere. Me and Nate are wearing the camo hat.
They're okay.
Reminder, we got some new hats made. These are probably my favorite hats we've had made yet. Very comfortable, and I think the design's cool. So go grab yourself a hat. There you go. For those that are watching, we have a camo. It's not quite M81.
It's a camo.
It's a variant.
It's a subdued
Camo with a black mesh.
Is so comfy.
The mesh,
cool hat.
it's tactical is what Legacy calls it. The mesh on it it's not your typical trucker cap mesh. It's so soft. It's very nice. The other one is more of kind of your standard trucker hat. It's the Legacy OFA. Hold on, I gotta wait for it to.
Yeah,
it's a little dark. You might want to pull the light over to it, but you can go check these out on the website. If you go to the hamburger menu and then you go to Brandon merch, you can find them there. They're very cool. The other thing I thought we talked about today, kind of the news in the industry.
News
is the new Glock Gen 6.
Hey, guess what? It's a Glock.
It's the Glock that's closer to an M&P.
But it's still a Glock.
Still
which means it's just the same, but not.
So I'm gonna read. I'm gonna read through, and then I thought we could, we can talk about our personal thoughts on this. So they're completely redesigned ergonomics and grip. The grip now has a palm swell built into the frame for more natural, secure hold, rather than like the blocky grip. So it's moving closer to like an M&P. The texture has been updated. I used to have a Gen 3 with the RTF 4, I think it is. And that was like super tacky. I actually loved it. So it's kind of a blend of RTF 2 and 4. So you have a nice grip on it. It's got a big old beaver tail on it, which I know is going to make a lot of people with chunky hands happy, because you're not going to get the slide bite that you used to. You can get kind of a higher grip on it. Still has interchangeable back straps. The still has the same grip angle. I think a lot of us would be happy if they would change and go with the same as everybody else, but it's fine. There is a molded in gas pedal style thing, which I thought was
Interesting.
Which was, I mean, to me that's one of the most like unique things that they did to it. Which, by the way, in my personal opinion, is everything I'm reading here is features that pretty much every other gun has had for a long time.
Because it's perfect.
They undercut the trigger guard, which I think is pretty cool. Flat face trigger, which is ish. Yeah.
I'm looking at the picture. It's not entirely flat face, but we can go
Flat
back to
with a curved bottom on it. I would say.
So I would say it's not flat then.
I did think it's interesting. The trigger reach, like the length of pull, is what I would call it, is shorter.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think I would like that.
Especially for people with smaller hands, it's nice.
Yeah. They got rid of the MOS system, which I love. And
you like the MOS system, or you?
I like that they got rid of it.
Oh, okay.
And went to kind of the same thing that a lot of other people have been doing. It comes with thin polymer plate, which is funny. They are selling. This is a selling point that they're polymer, because they're saying that it becomes like a crush washer. As you tighten it down, it like just pulls everything together, and like they're selling it as a feature. Let's
see how
where I'm at. They got. Yeah, they say the new system gives a lower profile optic mount. So it comes with plate for RMR, Delta Point. So you could choose that. And then slide controls, the slide serrations are a little deeper. There's a raised fence border around the slide stop lever. So if you would like to grip high, like most people should be, then it's going to help with that. That's actually something that I wish M&P would do. They did go back to the single stage recoil spring, which I was watching a video on that. They explained that as they went to when they started making, which they've been done that since like one of the early gens. Because once they started going to 40 and stuff, they needed, for whatever reason, they needed to go to separate pieces of help with that. Now that these are only 9mm, this initial launch is only 9mm. They went back to that. Let's see what else. Anything else? The magazine well has been flared more, which I think is cool. Still uses the same Glock mags and everything like that. All right, personal opinions. What is your guys? Which, to be fair, none of us here are Glock guys, right?
I carry my 43X, and I ran the 19X 100,000 plus rounds. See that gun?
So you're more of a Glock. I've owned a Gen 3. Nate's never owned a Glock.
Yeah,
no,
the 43X is my primary. Yeah, and then the Smith in the wintertime when it gets cold. So I'll just be the first to say, when I bought the 19X, loved the 19X, but what did we all do when we buy a Glock? We send it out to have the Gucci Glock modifications, the RMR cut, the serrations, the porting, the stippling, everything. So off the rip, I would give, I don't know the price point. Do you know the price point?
Same. Yeah, same price.
Then I would give them a thumbs up for what they did. They did a redefined ergonomic grip texture, which I do like. I do appreciate that they have that spot for your thumb to rest so you're not riding up on the slide. That's what you actually have done when you have stippling work and framework done. The beveling underneath the trigger guard, I do that on every single gun I send off. So all of these things seem like amenities that we would pay outside of a Glock manufacturer to do.
I did see a couple gun customizers pretty ticked off about it.
Yeah, they're like, I can't modify anything.
Yeah, unfortunately, some of the things that they've been doing are now already done from Yeah, from the factory.
And the beaver tail. I do appreciate a larger beaver tail because you can, and like it says in their video, allows you to ride up higher on it and secure it. And for some of us guys with big girthy hands, when we grab and go, we want to be able to be high and tight, but not necessarily worry about slide bite. So overall, I would give this, you know, a 7.5 out of 10, you know, for a rating. I want to get my hands on it and shoot it now.
Yeah.
Like any other gun, they shoot. A Glock shoots like a Glock, you know, but with these refined ergonomics and grip and everything that we would modify outside of at a standard entry price. And I hated the RMR cut too. So their new RMR cut with the extra plates for different optics. Yeah, I think they did a good job with this. If they were to perfect something over the last year, the Gen 5 wasn't the case, as we saw. But the Gen 6, I think they did a good job with it, especially for the price point.
Yeah. What do you think, Nate?
So I don't own any Glocks. I've never owned a Glock. I do, I've said this for a long time, feel like at some point I should have a Glock in the safe just because I'm a gun guy and it feels like something you should just have at some point in the safe. Will I ever be a Glock guy? Probably not. I like my M&Ps. I always have. I look at it and it looks like a Glock.
Sure, which it should, right? It's a Glock. A Glock should look like a Glock.
I would love to see I would love to get my hands on the texturing.
Yeah,
that's the biggest thing for me when I look at it. They talk about it's improved, you know, whatever they say, palm swell and all this other stuff. I'm like, to me, it looks still like a Glock grip. Not the texture. The texture looks different. The grip itself looks like a normal Glock.
I was watching a video. They had it next to a Gen 5, and you could definitely see
a difference.
I'm
looking at a picture.
Yeah,
it may be significantly better. I'd like to see what the texturing actually feels like. Because if it's good texturing, that'd be awesome. Because I think Glock's texturing has been lackluster forever.
Yeah.
Always. So if that's good, that'd be awesome. I like the undercut. I don't care about the gas pedal myself.
No,
that's not something I really care about. I understand why people are excited about it. A lot of people like it. That's something that people pay for. So I get that. I mean, some of the added features, this is how I feel about every gen that they do. I'm like, why did you prioritize that over other things? But it's fine.
What would you have wanted to see them do?
Oh, I don't care. It's not that I like.
No, yeah, but
I don't have anything that I want to see them do per se. The texture is the biggest thing that I think that that's the thing to me that was the biggest thing that they've needed to improve this whole time is actually texture the gun versus the tiny little blocks that have always been on a Glock grip. I mean, if you look through the generations of Glock, they have finger grooves and they don't have finger grooves, and they have finger grooves and they don't have finger grooves. So Glock can't figure out what perfect is for themselves.
I hate that they called it. So I put an Instagram story up after this. I think I said something like, is the perfect Glock even more perfecter now?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because they called Gen 1 perfect.
Yeah.
Yet they keep coming out with improvements.
Yeah.
So that must not have been perfect. This is now perfect. Gen 1 is not perfect. Gen 2 is now perfect. No, wait, now Gen 3 is perfect. Hold on. Gen 4. No, Gen 5 is perfect.
No, Gen 5.
Gen 6
a lot
is
of
now
it,
So yeah, I mean, I'd be interested to get my hands on the texture. Texture looks good.
I want to see what the trigger is like too.
I mean, I would suspect it's a Glock trigger.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's what I've heard is the Glock performance trigger from I guess Glock store, which is not actually associated with Glock, but I've heard that that's fantastic. If they can repeat that as a factory trigger, if it's a good trigger, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
I like a flatter face. This is not a flat face trigger. I'm sorry. That has a curve in it.
I actually like it. I think I actually like that a lot. Because
I'm not saying I don't like it. I just don't call it a flat face trigger.
Well,
it's not flat.
I mean, it's the whole thing isn't curved either. The problem that I've had with some flat face triggers, especially like on my CZ, I'm on P10C. My problem was my finger would kind of slide down the trigger, and then my finger would get trapped in between the end of the finger and the trigger guard, and I'd get like a blister there. I like that because yes, it's where my finger rests is flat, but then it's curved below that because my finger is curved below that. Yeah. So I think I'm actually gonna like that. I was laughing. I was watching a review and some guy was like, "It has the same trigger that you know and love." I'm like,
Who loves the Glock trigger?
I've never heard anybody like even hardcore Glock guys. I've never heard any of them say I love my Glock trigger ever. With the caveat, my Gen 3 Glock, which probably has hundreds of thousands of rounds to it, I actually kind of like that trigger.
Say my stock triggers, I kept them for
got
years.
a nice break on.
It wasn't until the end that I put a Timney trigger in it was the new fad, right?
Sure. Yeah.
That was the new trigger that you had to run. But I will say this for Glock, I could run the Glock trigger sometimes, if not more or less faster than my Smith. And I run my Smith more than any other gun now. Even with an Apex flat face trigger, like I was just getting in a rhythm with that I was running like 10.11 splits, which is cooking.
Oh yeah,
like really fast. Not something that's repeatable every single time, but I haven't in some time I haven't done that with the Smith trigger. Now, is it possible? Yeah, absolutely. And it's all about work, but I liked my Glock trigger.
There is something to be said. I have kind of got away from, with caveat, I love my Apex trigger and my M&P. But actually, one of the things about the trigger, I wish it had more of a tactile reset on it, because I think there's something nice about that, like a Glock trigger, like a more tactile reset, because you can feel it. There's more input into the feeling of it, so you can feel that reset, and you kind of know when to pull the trigger again. Sometimes it's hard to do because the reset's so short on that Apex, but there have been times where I've short stroked it.
Right.
Because I
absolutely.
just thought I knew where it was. My opinions on this, I'll be honest. As soon as I saw this, I was like, I might see the first Glock I want to buy. Actually,
let's go.
I went to RSR and I put one. They're not in stock, but
yeah.
Because to me, I think the things that really sold me is the texture and the shape of the grip, like the palm swell. I was kind of joking that like they're getting closer to making an M&P. Now, I have an M&P. I don't really need a Glock to be an M&P, but they're making it more ergonomic.
Sure.
And that's attractive to me, because I think there is, like Glocks or not, there is something about, like, we know that Glocks are good guns.
Oh yeah, there's nothing wrong with Glock.
And that they're very, that they're very reliable guns. And so the reliability is something in 100%. The aftermarket and everything like that. There's a lot to be liked about Glocks. That's why I will always recommend Glocks to people that are looking into new guns, even though I don't necessarily.
I'm not going to badmouth. I'm not badmouthing a Glock. There's some things to make fun of in a Glock.
There's things I like to tease them about, the perfection thing. And
I don't have an issue with Glock. It's just when I look at it, I don't see anything crazy. Like that's I think my biggest struggle when people are like, oh, it's a Gen 2 of something. Glock in particular, their gens, they're like, oh, it's the next gen Glock. I'm like, what did you do?
Yeah, everything internal's the same. You're right.
That's always been my struggle with their. Now this is a big step. I'm not saying.
Yeah, I do think this is probably the biggest step.
But generally speaking, they don't make big steps in their gens. Like their gens just.
I would like to know what a big step would be. Like, what is?
I think it was 4 to 5 is where they started having ambidextrous, like slide release and options to rotate your mag. I think that was kind of the I like that, right? The ambidextrous side of the house.
I think if Glock were to come out with, and I think this is one of the differences, because I think if Glock were to come out with a comped version with more slide cuts and I don't know, like the performance center style of thing, I think that would probably blow some people's minds. And maybe that's what people are thinking that they want to see, like the next gen. They want to see comp. They want to see performance trigger. They want to see match barrel.
Give me something like that, and that's the thing that would be like, oh, you did something.
No, that would definitely stand out.
That would be the thing that would tell me you did something more. Like again, I'm not saying they didn't do anything. The grip, the texture by itself is a big switch for them. It's a Glock.
Yeah.
And Glock is great. There's nothing wrong with Glock. But I also would say if you get your hands on a used Gen 3, I'm like, good job. Like you did nothing wrong by buying that versus the Gen 4, Gen 5, Gen V, Gen 6.
The closest I've come to this is we got a handful of like Glock clones this past year, and I don't really like them. And that's the closest I've come to shooting a newer Glock.
Sure.
Is these clones, and I don't really care for those. So I'm hoping that I'll like this more. I do think it'd be good to get one in and get it into our content and stuff.
It is so hard too. Like when you've been in the industry so long, when somebody's like, check out my gun, you're like, yep, cool. Like shoot this pistol. And you're like, there's no difference, right? Like you hand me a staccato and then you hand me a Taurus. I'm a huge distinguishable difference, right?
Yep.
But now like in the world of shooting and carrying, it's like they all serve the same purpose, and what you find you like, right?
Yep.
But they all become the same. Like I'm like you, if Glock came out and said Gen 7 is now a full metal frame, comp ported performance, everything for competition, that would be completely outside of Glock's normal wheelhouse and build. That would be something that would, now that's innovative and standing out more.
And unfortunately, that would show that they actually care about the civilian market.
Which they don't.
We know they don't.
That's not their customer. That is not their primary customer base.
Yeah, no, it's not.
That's fine.
And that's why Smith hits that market well. And they even are in the law enforcement side of the house, but
they
hit the civilian and competitive side.
Yep. And I mean, I'm not good for you, Glock. Good job.
Yeah.
Well done.
I'd like to get one. It's the first Glock. I've had a Gen Glock in our RSR thing for a long time. And I'm like, I want to get around to getting it. This one, I feel like I'm a little more
inclined.
Yeah, a little more inclined to get it in. The last thing I want to say about this is, it seems like the biggest thing that people are bashing in the comments is the plastic sights. Who cares about the iron sights or the plastic sights? When's the last time anybody used the iron sights? I've been slapping a red dot on my handguns as soon as I get them for at least the last 5 years, if not.
But there's people out there that are so new, right? We have to remember.
Yeah, and I did see somebody say that.
And if you're going to spend $700 for a gun and they did all this modification, it's $100 part, put tritium night sights on it, right? Like if you're going to go into the detail of giving you a little bit more, give us a little bit better iron sight.
Okay. Devil's advocate though, the person that just bought that Glock is not going to war with it. The plastic sights are fine for those people.
And the person that, because you didn't spend $300 on plenty of other nice guns, you spent $700 on this. Then you can spring for whatever sites you want and throw them on there.
Yeah.
Like if you cared about not spending $100 more, then you would have bought the cheaper gun.
I know plenty of people that never upgraded their sights on Glocks and have been shooting them for years with the plastic sights, and it's fine.
I mean, to the defense, I don't even have a rear sight on my back. I've got an optic.
I mean, am I advocating for keeping the plastic sights? No. But it'll be all right. It'll be okay. No one. It's just,
if you can aim and see with it,
it'll be fine.
And it's doing good.
I'm going to put an optic on it, and I'll probably just rip the sights off and call it a day.
I've been taking iron sights off my guns lately.
You could be instructor 0 and have just nothing on the top.
That's right.
Just slick. All right, let's get into faith.
Faith anchors us, fuel drives us. Let's open God's word and find the wisdom we need to live it out every day.
Into thinking, I was like, I think I have it turned down on the board, so I turned up.
Now, the question is, with it being turned down on the board, does that mean it's turned down in the recording though too?
Yes, I think it'll be still missing on the recording.
Well, that's all right.
There we go. So I said last week for Faith and Fuel that we're going to be looking at Advent all through the month of December, leading up to Christmas, and so I have something here that I'm going to read to you guys about this week. The second Sunday of Advent is a Sunday of peace. During Advent, we celebrate expectations for God's redemption. We celebrate love and peace and joy and hope. And one of the reasons we celebrate peace is because of the marvelous words said by the angels at the time of the birth of Jesus in Luke 2:14. Suddenly, a great company of the heavenly host appeared with the angel, praising God and saying, "Glory to God in the highest, on earth, peace to those to whom his favor rests." During Advent, we celebrate the expectation of peace that comes through Jesus, the Messiah. This is a time in history when we have so much expectation for peace because of the tragedies in our world. There are wars around the globe between nations. There are even wars within nations, within political parties. We have battles that are taking place between the church and the state, and between one group of Christians and another group of Christians. We have strife and tension with individual churches, where some Christians are not getting along. And as they celebrate Advent and begin to celebrate the coming of the Messiah, both in his first Advent and his second Advent, that tension will become to them more obvious and maybe an opportunity for them to make peace. There are tensions and strife within families, neighborhoods, and within communities. Christians during Advent celebrate the peace that comes through the Messiah. Christians have the opportunity, so it seems to me, to be agents of peace in their families, in their communities, in their neighborhoods, in their churches, in their nations, and agents of peace for the whole world. Our expectation for peace that we celebrate at Advent leads us to think about Jesus as the Prince of Peace. That celebration of the angels when Jesus was born expressed expectations, promises, and hopes from the book of Isaiah. But Jesus himself becomes an agent of peace, and he teaches his disciples in one of the most famous beatitudes of all in Matthew 5:9. Blessed are the peacemakers. Jesus was himself a peacemaker, but he expected his disciples to be agents of peace in their communities, families, and relationships with one another. When Jesus enters Jerusalem in his last week, we read some pretty significant words in Luke 19. Jesus, after having controversies and discussions and debates, and maybe it spilled over into arguments with the leaders in Jerusalem surrounding the temple, he leaves Jerusalem and he makes these words. If you, even you, had only known on this day what would bring you peace. Jesus knew what would bring them peace, but he perceived that they were not receiving the peace he was offering. Peace becomes central in the New Testament, and one of the great writers about the New Testament said, peace happens to be the missing piece when it comes to early Christians' ethics and understanding them in the New Testament theology. The peace was important. The Gospel of John tells us that Jesus promised them that they would have peace. It was inner peace. Peter, when he was preaching a sermon in Acts 10, tells them that this is the summary of the teachings of Jesus, that he brought the gospel of peace. He preached peace, which was peace between people, peace between different Jewish groups, peace between his group and those groups, and peace between Jews and Gentiles, as Peter preaches this gospel. Peace is not an alternative or preference to Christians today. Peace should be at the heart of the way we live, the way we talk, and what we preach. At Advent, we have the opportunity to celebrate peace, the peace that comes with God through Jesus, the peace that is Jesus as the Prince of Peace, the peace that is an ethic whereby we live, and the peace that the apostles preached. The question we have to ask during this Advent is whether we are people of peace and whether our message is a message of peace. So as we head into this week, last week we talked about the hope that we have in Jesus, and this week the peace that we have in Jesus, and it's just something so important to keep our eyes and our minds and our hearts focused on as we approach Christmas and honestly every day. So I hope that means something to you, and we hope and pray that all of you have a hope-filled and peace-filled week. We appreciate you guys all for hopping into our live today. If you were here for live, and we appreciate your input. And we will see you next week.
That is a turkey.
Wrong. That was a turkey. Hold on. Oh, jeez.
Oh, boy.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, boy.
It's one of them.
Oh, come on. Wrong button. Hold on. Down there. There you go.
Here we go. Thanks for tuning in to Life, Liberty, and Equipped. If today's conversation challenged you, I encourage you, made you laugh, or helped you get more equipped to pursue your mission, share with a friend, drop a comment, and leave us a review.
Don't forget, we go live on the Neomag YouTube and Facebook page, so be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can be part of the next ridiculous live show.
And if you're not already part of the Neomag Insiders Club, now's the time. Get early access to the Neomag gear, exclusive content, and front row seats to everything we're building. Go to theneomag.com to sign up.
Until next time, live boldly, stand for liberty, and stay equipped. We'll see you guys soon.
I feel like we should do a turkey call again.
It's the wrong arrow.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us on our live show today. Thank you for dealing with. We actually had almost no technical difficulties.
Yes.
We had stupid us difficulties, but not technical difficulties. So that was lovely. So we appreciate you guys joining us. We will be back next week with another live show. As a heads up, the week of Christmas, the show will be pre-recorded.
But we'll have a show for you. It's going to be a fun one. We're going to have some fun.
So it'll be good. But we will see you guys next week.
Bye.
See you later.